So, welcome back to my take. Pay attention. Um, as I always insist, we scholars should take the gown to the streets, so to speak, and make our voices heard. Let's listen to this clip and then we continue.
With equity in an equitable manner. And there is a need for reform in that regard as well. And the other important thing for this to happen, it will help us not to participate as unequal cousins in these institutions. It will help us to participate fully and so that we don't have a sense that we are beggars, that we are being dealt with out of generosity. I think it's important in the new era that the world is in now that there should be a good measure of equality among sovereign nations.
Well, so the South African president is here speaking at a conference that was held in Paris, June 22nd to 23rd. And the conference was on the global financial system and the need to restructure it, to reconfigure it, to serve the world. The idea of reconfiguration, the idea of reconsidering the global financial system essentially logically speaks to the problems that it has, that obviously it is not fit for purpose. And so in Paris, world leaders met. And the focus, when you read the text of on the website for this conference, it says that yes, there's the need to reconfigure the global financial system, but more to the point, so that vulnerable countries, which is a metaphor for countries that are not powerful, are not rich, are not strong in the world, countries in Africa, other places in Africa and other places in the world, in the Caribbean, parts of Asia, Latin America, etc. All right. So this is what the conference was about. And I think that the South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa, makes some key points. But I thought that I would broaden the question for us in Africa, right? You know, 2 points or three. The first is that why is it that this call to deal with the current global financial architecture did not come from, you know, the countries in Africa who really are at the mercy of this system. So it was not held in Accra, it was not held in Pretoria, it was not held in Nairobi. And that is telling, right? So it is Macron who's essentially summoned the leaders to come sit in Paris to talk about this question. All right? That can be read very easily as a sign of the power that France holds. We know France is essentially at the core of you know the global northern power infrastructure. So the president's special position undermines the position that he himself, you know, takes, which is a position that is reasonable. But where he is sitting confounds the claim that he makes, however legitimate. And I share it, right? Now that then leads me to my second point. It is not simply making the point about, that Africa is treated as a beggar and beggary and all of that, that would cause our situation when it comes to wealth, power, financial, technological, military to change. Right? So the appeal to moral suasion does not really cut, in a sense. In fact, in a clear sense, it doesn't cut. And China has demonstrated that. The Chinese reconstructed their nation after 1949. Then there was the guy, Ge Kaifang, the reform and opening up. So from Mao to Deng Xiaoping, under whom the reforms and opening up took place, to Xi, China has essentially rebuilt. It has become a force to reckon with in terms of technology, in terms of culture, in terms of politics, and the rest of them. So that is why China is a force to reckon with. Tangibles. And this is what we need to do on the continent of Africa. Leadership, institutions, vision, strategic competence. This is what would cause us to sit at the table and assert ourselves. But you look at the continent of Africa today, it's obviously in a very weak position that mere words cannot change. Now, this global financial system, essentially foisted on Africa through neoliberalism in the 80s, has meant that African countries have to go to the international capital markets as the sole means, the only game in town, as it were, for raising financial resources to deal with recurrent expenditures and capital expenditures, but in terms of the budget or their budgets. And obviously in the post-COVID era, when these loans and paying back the interest on them fell due, African countries went into default. And Ghana is a typical example. We were not able to pay these loans that we had raised. We acquired a voracious appetite for these loans, and we essentially crashed. Right? Now there's a high cost of living across African countries, Ghana included. So we need a game shift. We need a new game to be able to deal with these questions beyond just sitting in the comfort of a summit with drinking avian water and drinking choice wine and fromage and all of that, right? Mr. President, your country, South Africa, was expected through the ANC to be the arrowhead, the spearhead for Africa's transformation. And indeed, the great Thabo Mbeki put us on that path with his African Renaissance. What happened to that? The ANC obviously has become corrupt. It is not the party that some of us believed in Accra when we were growing up. We saw the liberation struggle. We were witnesses to it. And we look forward to this new South Africa. Not this one where there are rolling blackouts and Exxon cannot keep the power on. So this is actually worrying. So, Mr. President, you know this. You are a veteran. You were in the trenches. We need a new vision, we need new moves on the chessboard. This is chess, not checkers. It's chess, not drafts. And so please, we are paying attention. And As I insist, we scholars would go to the streets and make our views heard so that we begin to engage in reconstructive intervention for the masses of our people. So this is my take, and I hope that all of you would engage. These are big questions for the future of the continent in the post-COVID era, in a new world upon us. And Mr. Ramaphosa pointed to this new world upon us. What do we do about it? The issues are not merely semiotic, they affect our lives. What do we do about it? Okay, keep the musing and the thinking going. I'll be back again with my quips and my musings and my controversial views. My views, anyway, my take. So see you, take good care. And I look forward to us interacting. Kindly, I don't like the word follow, as I always say, engage, join my channel and let's keep the conversation going. And you take good care.